There's a number sitting inside your muscles right now that nobody ever told you about. It's been quietly falling for years, and the moment it drops low enough, something inside your legs, your arms, your grip starts to give way. Not overnight, not with pain, just slowly, until one day you notice the jar won't open, the stairs feel steeper, and getting up from the couch takes a small negotiation with your own body. Doctors have a name for this. They call it sarcopenia. But what almost nobody has heard is the name of the protein behind it, because until recently, even scientists didn't fully understand it. That protein is called TP53INP2. And what researchers just discovered about it might be the closest thing we've seen to a reset button for aging muscle. Here's what's actually happening under your skin. Every muscle cell in your body runs a constant cleanup operation. Old damaged proteins and worn-out cellular parts get swept away and recycled, making room for healthy tissue to keep doing its job. This process is called autophagy, and TP53INP2 is one of the switches that turns it on. When you're young, that switch works fine. But researchers studying muscle tissue from both younger and older adults found something striking. As people age, TP53INP2 levels in the muscle quietly decline. And the people with the lowest levels weren't just older on paper. They had noticeably weaker hand grip strength, one of the most reliable early markers doctors use to predict frailty, falls, and loss of independence in the years ahead. But here's where it gets interesting, because a correlation is just an observation. The real question was whether restoring that protein could actually reverse the damage. So the team ran the experiment in mice. They engineered mice to produce extra TP53INP2 in their muscles, either continuously starting young or introduced later in life, after aging had already begun. In both cases, the results held up. The muscle tissue held onto more mass, the fibers stayed stronger, cellular stress markers dropped. And in the older mice, muscle function that had already started declining began to recover, not just slow down. That second part matters most, because most anti-aging research can only claim to slow decline. This is one of the few studies where researchers actually showed reversal in a living, aging body. Now, before you get too excited, let's be honest about where this actually stands, because you deserve the real picture, not the hype. This is not a pill you can take. There is no approved sarcopenia drug on the market today, and there wasn't one before this study either. This research was done in mice, using genetic engineering techniques that aren't something you can replicate by eating a certain food or taking a certain supplement. Translating a discovery like this into an actual human treatment usually takes years, sometimes a decade or more, and plenty of promising mouse studies never make it that far. So if you see anyone online already selling you a TP53INP2 activator supplement, that's a red flag, not a breakthrough. Nothing like that has been tested in humans, let alone approved. What this research does give you, right now, today, is something arguably more valuable than a future pill. It gives you proof of a mechanism you can actually influence with things you already have access to. Because here's what scientists already know pretty well. The same autophagy process that TP53INP2 switches on in mice, resistance exercise activates it too. So does adequate protein intake, especially spread across meals rather than loaded into one. So does avoiding long stretches of complete inactivity, which is one of the fastest ways to accelerate muscle loss at any age. This study didn't invent the importance of muscle maintenance after 60. It just handed us a biological explanation for why the muscle-preserving habits your doctor already recommends work the way they do, and it opens the door to a future where medicine might be able to do even more. So here's the real takeaway, the one worth remembering after this video ends. Muscle loss after 55 isn't just an inevitable slide you have to accept quietly. There is an active cellular process behind it, and for the first time, researchers have shown that process can be turned back on, not just paused. That's not nothing. That's the foundation future treatments get built on. And while we wait for that future, the tools you already have, strength training, adequate protein, staying consistently active, are doing real work at exactly this cellular level, keeping that internal switch flipped in the right direction. If this is the kind of research that actually matters to you, the science behind staying strong and independent as you age, rather than another supplement ad dressed up as a health tip, stay close. This channel exists to translate exactly this kind of discovery into what it actually means for your life. not the exaggerated version